You're sitting there across from them trying to act normal, but your brain is screaming. Every pause feels like forever. Every laugh feels fake. Every look feels wrong. You feel exposed. And the worst part? They can feel it too. Most first dates are awkward. Most people mess up before they even say a word. And yet you think, maybe I'll just wing it. Maybe you'll hide the sweat on your hands, the tightness in your shoulders, the nervous knot in your stomach. First dates are supposed to feel natural, supposed to be easy. But most fail because of one hidden trap, the silence trap. That heavy quiet that makes you grab your phone or spill your drink just to fill it. You're not lazy. You're not boring. Your brain is just stuck in a loop it's learned to fear. That's why these tricks exist. They're not the usual talk about hobbies advice. They're not vague, just be yourself stuff. They're simple moves that can turn awkward into almost comfortable, almost magnetic. Forget the questions everyone asks. Where do you work? What do you like to do? That's a trap. You want them to open up naturally, but those words only push them into practiced answers. Instead, ask something that brings up a memory, something that sparks a story. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done on a dare? Or what movie or song takes you back to being a kid? See the difference? You're not asking for facts. You're asking for their story, their memory. And stories do something facts can't. They make connection. They pull them out of their nervous shell and make them human in your presence. While they talk, listen differently. Not the polite nod and smile. Not the yeah, fake attention. Lean in. Match their energy just enough to feel familiar. Not creepy, not fake. Just enough so your presence feels comfortable. This is the first invisible change. The moment the date stops feeling like an interview. The moment you both start just being in the same space instead of two strangers performing. Even after this, the tension doesn't go away completely. Your hands might sweat, your stomach might twist, but the crushing, freeze everything awkwardness, it starts to fade. The next trick will push it even further, but I'm not giving it yet. The real power is in pacing, in timing, in making them feel safe and curious. If you try these tricks without knowing why, you're just another awkward date repeating the same loop. But if you master the pauses and memory triggers, suddenly silence shrinks, conversation grows. And for the first time, a first date might actually feel human. Now comes the trick that most people completely miss. It's not about talking more. It's not about being funnier or smarter. It's about energy. Your energy sets the temperature of the conversation. If you're tense, they're tense. If you're calm, they relax. It's contagious. And most people don't even notice they're giving off the wrong signals. Here's what to do. Mirror, but not too obviously. Lean forward when they lean. Nod when they nod. Match the tone of their voice just enough that they feel familiar. Subtle, almost imperceptible, but it makes them feel safe. Familiarity is magnetic, and suddenly your presence stops being scary and starts being welcome. Next, you need a little unpredictability. Not chaos, just a small spark that breaks the monotony. Drop one quirky fact about yourself. Not a resume, not your achievements. Something odd, funny, memorable. Maybe it's a strange hobby. Maybe it's a tiny, embarrassing story that makes you human. It works like magic. They laugh, they lean in, and the ice that has been slowly forming begins to crack. And here's the part people never talk about. The pause. The silence you feared in part one, now it becomes a tool. Let them speak. Don't rush to fill gaps. The trick is in timing. Listen. Really listen. React just enough to keep the rhythm flowing. You'll notice as they talk, the tension inside you loosens. The awkward stops shrinking piece by piece. Pay attention to small details. Notice their gestures, the words they repeat, the way their eyebrows lift. Use that, ask tiny follow-up questions. Not obvious or rehearsed, just enough to show you're tuned in. People feel validated when someone notices them. It's addictive and it pulls them closer. The next step is subtle humor, a line or observation that feels natural, not forced. Something that makes them laugh softly, a little offbeat. Humor breaks tension like nothing else, but it has to be timed, measured, human. Too early and it lands wrong. Too obvious and it feels fake. Watch, listen, then drop the line. By now you can feel it. You're not a nervous stranger anymore. You're a human being sharing a space with another human being. The conversation flows. Pauses are no longer frightening. You're laughing quietly together, leaning in without thinking. That invisible thread is forming. And this is the secret most first dates never reach. Connection doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how you feel and how you make the other person feel. If you control the small, invisible cues, timing, energy, listening, curiosity, awkwardness fades almost completely. The next trick, the one that makes the date feel effortless, is waiting for you in next part. But for now, notice the change. Notice the difference between a date that feels like a struggle and a date that almost flows. And understand you have the power to create that shift one move at a time. By now, you've felt the invisible thread form. The awkward weight is lighter. The conversation moves almost on its own. You laugh, you lean in, you notice each tiny gesture. And yet there's one more shift that most people completely miss. The one that can make the entire date feel effortless. It's about control without control. Not dominance. Not manipulation. Just awareness. Notice the rhythm of the conversation. Notice when to speak, when to pause. Notice when they're about to share something small and let them. Don't interrupt. Don't rush to be interesting. Let them fill the space. You'll find the moment has power. Timing changes everything. Next, there's a trick that's almost invisible, but it works every time. Pay attention to your energy, not just your words. If you're nervous, your nervousness leaks out in tiny ways. Fidgeting, rapid speech, forced laughs. Slow down, lower your voice slightly. Relax your shoulders. Let your movements be measured. The subtle calmness acts like a magnet. People are drawn to it without even knowing why. Here's the part most people miss completely. Shared small victories. Notice a minor detail they mention, then echo it later naturally. You mentioned that weird childhood habit. I tried that once. It was hilarious. Tiny confirmations like this show attention, make the other person feel seen, and humans crave being seen. They'll remember you. They'll feel a connection without even thinking about it. Another trick is silence, but the good kind. Not the heavy, panic-inducing silence from earlier. The listening silence that says, I'm here, I care, I'm paying attention. It's easy to forget, but it's powerful. Let them finish. Don't talk just to fill space. Wait, watch, respond when it matters. That silence becomes part of the rhythm. The fifth trick is subtle curiosity. Ask something that's not ordinary. Something that makes them pause for a second and think. What's something you've done that nobody would guess? Or what small thing makes your day unexpectedly better? Questions like these create stories, laughter, and glimpses of who they really are. It's like opening a door slowly, letting them choose what to show. By this point, the awkwardness you feared at the start has almost completely disappeared. You're not trying to impress. You're not overthinking. You're just present. The nervous sweat, the panicked thoughts, the forced smiles, they've faded because the tension is gone. You've created a rhythm. You've built subtle trust. You've made them feel safe, curious, seen.